Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we'll perform the February review where we'll talk about what happened last month and what will happen in the future. Okay, we'll start today with the IVDR. So we talked about this proposal to have some delay on some of the IVDR products class. So there was an approval for that, and the regulation is 2022/112, and on this it's clarifying the changes to do to the IVDR so that there is kind of a delay in terms of some classification. So the date of application is still the same, the 26th of May 2022, but there are some delay for some of the classes. For example, Class A devices will have to be available within this date of application. Class D devices, so the highest class, should be in place, should be on the market under IVDR by May 26, 2025. Class C devices by May 26, 2026. Class B devices by May 26, 2027. And Class A sterile devices delivered on a sterile state should be available also by May 26, 2027. So these are dates really important to remember. Only one thing that you have really to be also clear is the fact that if your product is following the IVDD and if it has a transition period from the 26th of May 2022, it means that during this period between the 26th of May 2022 until the real date for your products, during this transition period, if you have any significant change to your product, so then it has to comply to the IVDR immediately. It is the same rule for MDR, so this is something that you have to understand. And during this transition period, what is important also is that you'll have to follow the requirements of EU IVDR for post-marketing surveillance, for vigilance reporting, for market surveillance, for economic operator registration. So all this you should follow, and even PRRC, you should have a PRRC during this period also. So there is a lot of things that here should be understood related to that. So please don't hesitate to read this update of the regulation to really have a understanding on the dates. I know the dates seems a bit complicated because there are a lot of classes and a lot of changes, but it is really important to understand. Another thing is about the IVDD certificates. So normally it was like same as MDR. It was the MDD certificate and IVDD certificate should be void by the 26th of May 2024, but this regulation also changed now, and now the IVDD certificate will be void by the 26th of May 2025. So it's something that is also important for you to understand here. Okay, expert panel now. So we have a lot of expert panel reports coming from the expert panel on the expert panel website. So I really advise you, if you are in the IVD business, you have really to go there and check what is mentioned, because there is really a big source of information. If you are performing some performance evaluation, some clinical evaluation for your devices, this is also a source of information that can help you to understand what are the problems that the other products encountered, so that you can also maybe correct that before you place your device on the market. If you need any look at this, so there is this page that is on the show notes where there is all the finalized expert panel reviews, and also the ongoing. There is also a section for ongoing, so you can see also what is ongoing, and there is a lot. So it's not like MDR, there is really a lot for IVDR because a lot of products are now becoming Class D devices under IVDR, so there is a lot of evaluation that should be done here. And we stay on IVD for a specific reminder, if I can say, made by the Finnish authority, FIMEA. They are talking specifically about the self-testing of COVID-19. And on this self-testing, there is really a rule that they are trying to remind to importers and distributors. One of the rules is that under IVDD, those self-testing devices should be certified by a notified body. And I am myself using those devices because I have some kids and I have to school. And when I'm looking at the boxes, I'm seeing a lot of issues sometimes. So to be able to recognize if this product is good for self-testing, normally you go on the box and you look for the CE marking. If you see the CE marking with the notified body number, then you can say, yes, this product is good. This is certified by a notified body. Then it's good for self-testing. So when we say self-testing, it's testing by a layman person, not by a professional. Here, when you see just a CE without a number, it means that this product is not for self-testing, it is for professional use. And this can be a big problem because the information or the way that it's described how to use that can be a problem. I have made also myself the test. I read the IFU of one that was for self-testing and one that was more for professional, and you can really see the difference because one is made more understandable by a professional that knows what he's doing, and one tries really to make it more easy for persons that are layman persons, so that are you and me. So meaning that you have really to be careful if you are an importer or distributor, but also if you are a user of those devices, to have a clear understanding that these are targeted for professionals when there is just a CE mark, and these are targeted for layman person when there is a CE plus the number, the notified body number. Okay, in the world of clinical trial, we have a new regulation, so the clinical trial regulation that is now in place since the 31st of January 2022, where when you are, before when you were requiring a clinical trial in Europe, you had to go to each competent authority and submit that for each competent authority where you want to make this clinical trial. Now, this completely changed. So the CTR clinical trial regulation included a new system, which is a CTIS, Clinical Trial Information System, which is a single point of access for sponsors and regulators. So with this system, you can have access to around 30 countries in Europe and EEA, and where you can publish there the same documentation and everything will be the same. So no need to multiply, if I can say, the action. You have just one single entry point so that you can request an authorization for your clinical trials. So as I've said, this is available since the 31st of January 2022. So you can go on the show notes and you'll see the regulation for that. And if you are planning a clinical trial now, you have to understand that there is a different way now, so you will maybe be surprised if you are not understanding this new regulation. So go to the show notes and you'll get the new regulation. And in the UK now, we have also a consultation for the clinical trial process because of Brexit, so the UK are now really trying to review all their regulations so that they can be more performant. So there is a consultation that is open on the MHRA website, and this consultation will be ended on the 14th of March 2022. And so the objective is really to improve and strengthen the UK clinical trial legislation. And there is here a 30 pages proposal where there is question that you have to answer, and then you can provide your answer to it and your comments, your feedback to the MHRA. I think it's really important if you are really on this clinical trial business to understand what is coming also in those countries like UK, because there will be some kind of changes from what the EU is doing also because of those consultations. So don't miss this if you are also planning some clinical trials in the UK. Okay, we had a good month of January with a Green Belt Certificate, a training on EU MDR 2017-745. So it's something that really is helping all the community if you are trying to also get this kind of training. So I am also planning a new session in February for the Green Belt Certificate on EU MDR, where you will have a 5 days training. During those 5 days, you will have a self-paced section where you can review the material, make the quizzes, make some assignments, and you'll have one every day, so one session per day, a live session where I will explain to you one topic, one of the module, and I can answer any of your questions. At the end, you get an attestation of participation with all the information of what you learned during that week, and there will be an exam, and if you get this exam, then you will receive a certificate for your success. So don't hesitate to go to the show notes to find the link for the next courses, which will be in February 21st until February 25th, 2022. Okay, I hope I will see you there. EUDAMED. So in terms of EUDAMED, we talked last time and explained that in October we had the release of the module for device registration and for certificates. But when you were looking at the certificates, there was nothing inside. So we checked and there was nothing. So recently, during one of my training, we are always making this review of EUDAMED, so we are explaining how the modules are working, and I was surprised to discover that there was one certificate inside which was issued by DECRA certification BV for iDance. So iDance is a company that we also had on our podcast, so happy to see that they were the first one to be there. If you want to go to see the podcast with Leon Durm from iDance, so you can go to episode 111, and I have that also on the show notes. So good to see that now, the notified bodies are starting also to place the certificates, which will help also to define if a product is really fine, if a company is really certified or not, because there was no such database existing in Europe before, and now it starts to be filled. So really happy of that. So because of COVID-19, the European Commission is starting now to think about how to manage any shortage of medical devices and medicinal products. And they created now the regulation for that, the proposal for that also. And there is, this proposal will enter into force in March 1st, 2022, where there will be some process for communication of shortage on medical devices and medicinal products, and then the agency, which is called ESMP, so European Shortage Monitoring Platform. This platform will be receiving those information, and then the action will be implemented by the agency. So inside there will be the lists of medicinal products or medical devices that are in shortage, and there should be then some actions to try to have that available again on the market. So it's a program that will start March 1st, 2022, and you can see all the information also on the show notes. Harmonized Standards. So we talked about that a lot last year because they were not existing, and now we start to have more and more harmonized standards on the list. And there is a new web page. So if you want to change your bookmarks on your browsers for the harmonized standards, so I'll place that on the show notes, and there will be the information about harmonized standards for EU MDR, for IVDR, and there are some changes also inside. Recently we had the information about new standards that were included inside. We have also, for example, the ISO 13485 2016 with the amendment 2021, which mentioned about EU MDR. That is also included inside. So don't hesitate to go on the show notes and change, as I've said, your bookmarks. So if you want really to have a view of those harmonized standards in future. Annex 16. So you remember that we talked about that a lot. So there are, with the EU MDR, some new requirements for products that have no medical purpose. So as we talked about, the contact lenses that are just here to color the eyes, the equipments to remove or destroy adipose tissue, like liposuction, lipolysis, lipoplasty, brain stimulation device, etc. So there is 6 categories of devices that are listed on Annex 16. And normally, by the 26th of May 2021, those products should be following the EU MDR. The problem is that there is also one rule for that, is that the common specification for those products are existing. Actually, those common specifications are not published, but recently, last week, we had the publication of a draft of the common specification. And we looked at that, and there is a consultation actually for this. So you have to answer before February 11th, 2022 to discuss about, to tell what's your comments about that. Next week, this week, in Friday, we'll try to have a LinkedIn live to talk about that. So don't hesitate also to join the live and to ask your question and answer that. We will also help you to understand how you can make your comment, because it's really easy. I even myself put a comment inside if you want to go and check. So you can go and place your comments and explain what's your problem, and maybe try to influence, if I can say, the modification of this common specification. So don't hesitate to go on the show notes and look at that. There is the part related to the articles, and there is the most important part, which is about the annexes. Inside the annexes, we have the Annex 1, which is a general overview for all the information or all the products, and then you have each of the different other annexes that are specific to a product. You have Annex 5, for example, specifically for lipolysis, lipoplasty, liposuction, and then inside it tells you exactly what information should be available on the instruction for use, which contraindication you should write on your documentation, etc., etc. So it's a big information that is there, and you have really to read it and understand it, but don't miss the opportunity to provide your feedback to it. Switzerland. So we have in Switzerland a web page that was published about reprocessing of medical devices within the healthcare facilities. So the reprocessing of medical devices is really a big challenge, because we have to use the right process for cleaning, for disinfection, for sterilization. And here we have the Swissmedic that is providing the good reprocessing practices, a document that is providing information on that. For now, this document, I find it only in German. So if you are German speaker, it will be good, but I hope they will be translating that maybe in other languages. So I will place here the link for the page, and then you can go and check the document, but there is really a lot of other information. There is also information inside this web page about a checklist on how to review your labels of the products, etc. So there is also a lot of information that are really important for you. So don't hesitate to go and to check that. UK, with the UK responsible person. So from January 1st, 2022, we had some updates to the UK regulation requirements. And one of the changes is the fact that you have to now register or re-evaluate your registration on the MHRA website. So if you are a UK responsible person, you will have, like me, because we are also, you will have a lot of communication maybe from your customers, because they will receive a message 3 months before the anniversary date for the renewal of their registration within the MHRA database. So the exercise is simple. Is there any change to your customers? Yes or no? If there is a change, you change it. If there is no change, you just go inside, you click once, you say there is no change, and you click twice, and it's finished. So it's something that can take just 1 or 2 seconds, so it's not really a big deal. But you have to do that, otherwise the account will be closed for this customer. So if you are a manufacturer, you can do nothing. You have to ask your UK responsible person to do that for you. So they will go on the MHRA database and they will do this exercise also. So, but don't be surprised by this message. And it's nice because they are doing that 3 months before. It's not like doing that 1 or 2 weeks before. So it's really a really good thing. But it's not a big problem. It's not a big deal. You can do that easily. Okay, now in Bahrain, in the Middle East, we have an information related to which product doesn't need to be registered as medical devices in Bahrain. And it's obvious, if I can say, but we have some products there that are really important. I mean, types of products. So the first one is the products, the medical devices imported by healthcare facilities for emergency and a single time, and not a planned use, if I can say. So if you are planning to have it only once, then it doesn't need to be registered because it's an exceptional situation. If you have medical devices that are imported in Bahrain for research and educational purpose, there is no need also to register. If you have some personal imported medical devices, so if you are traveling and you have with you your personal medical device because you are using that, a user of it, then it's also not considered to be registered. If you are also having a custom-made device or specific patient device that has to be delivered, it's also doesn't need to be registered. And the last one is the samples for exhibition or for conferences. So if you are traveling there for a conference, then it's not needed also. So it's, I think, a list that is important. It's nearly the same as what also we have in Europe. There are some differences, but yeah, we have nearly the same also in Europe. Only for the first one, which is the emergency and single time use, this we have to look at a case by case because there are some rules to respect that. Okay, if you need some support for all about quality and regulatory affairs for medical devices, so don't hesitate to contact us also at Easy Medical Device. So we can help you for consulting, for training, for coaching. And if you need also an authorized representative in Europe, in UK, in Switzerland, then you can also contact us. We are also providing the service of independent importer for some of our customers. So don't hesitate also to check with us if we can help you for that. So yeah, contact me at info@easymedicaldevice.com and I will see if I can help you for that. Okay, next topic is newsletters. So if you want to follow some newsletters that are maybe important for you, we have, I talked about that last time, we have the Medsun newsletter from the US. So where we have a lot of information about the vigilance reporting, some issues that are happening on the market, etc. And this time on the January 2022 version, we are talking about, there is a discussion about 3D printing products at point of care. So I think it's really a big discussion about how we can regulate that, what you can do, what you cannot do. So there is inside the information, a summary about this discussion, and also some information about how you can maybe provide your advice or your feedback. So 3D printing is a new methodology for printing, but now what we are thinking a lot and big companies are doing now is trying to see if we can have a point of care, meaning that the healthcare facility will manufacture themselves the products, or will have the products directly at the point where they will be taking care of the patient. And this is something that you have to understand and regulate, and understand how we can provide the best service and best products to the patient. So this is what is discussed actually on the Medsun. And the next one is the PMDA Japan newsletter, where we have all the information about Japanese situation. For MDSAP, we have also some learning. So if you want to learn about the Japanese regulation, you can also go to this newsletter. There is also information about some learning platform also in Japan. So I think it's important to be part of those newsletters, just if you are selling your products in those countries, so that you can stay aware of the situation there. Okay, guidance is now. So we have the MDCG 2022-1 guidance, which is a notice to third countries manufacturers of SARS-CoV-2 in vitro medical devices. So this document is more like a reminder, like what we have done the Finnish organization FIMEA before, a reminder of for the third-party countries, so countries for the third-party manufacturers, so manufacturers that are not located in European Union, to explain to them the most common issues that they have discovered about those products. So the first one is the designation of an authorized representative, meaning that there is a lot of those manufacturers that are placing the device in the market without designation of an authorized representative, which is not following the law of the IVDD and IVDR, but IVDD most likely for the moment. So this is something that is really important. You have to appoint a European authorized representative, even a Swiss authorized representative, even a UK responsible person if you are trying to target one of those countries. So it's really important. Then, as we talked with the Finnish organization, there is a lot of issues about the fact that a lot of self-tests are not certified by a notified body. And as I've told you, the rule is that when we have a self-test on SARS-CoV-2, you have to have a notified body that is certifying the products. Without that, we cannot guarantee that a layman person is really well qualified, if I can say, to do the self-test by themselves. So this is the second one. The third one is about the translation of the instruction for the label. You have to understand also that people that will be using those tests have to understand what is written, how to apply. If they are not speaking English, if they are speaking Italian or French, they have also to be able to read it. So it's mainly something that is really important. So translation is also a key point that creates a lot of problems also for the usage of those self-kits. The performance evaluation is not performed correctly. So this is also something that is important. And with the IVDR, we have more to do on that. So verify that your product is performing well. You have also to provide some performance on the IFU, the rate of the sensitivity, everything that has to be with the products, if I can say, performance should be also written on the instruction for use. So don't hesitate. Don't forget to have that also there, and to have the documents that proves all those information that you are placing on the instruction for use. And the last one is about the transition period. So we have Article 110 that talks about the transition period. As we said before, now there will be some changes in terms of some products. In vitro diagnostics, so COVID-19 in vitro diagnostic products are considered as class D products, so the highest risks of products, and then they will have to be compliant by the 26th of May 2024, if I remember, or 5, can't remember, just a second, 2025. So then you have to have all your documentation ready by this date for those products. But in the meantime, they have to follow IVDD, and IVDD has also some requirements, so you have to verify that. Then the second guidance is the MDCG 2022-2, which is the general principle for clinical evidence of IVD. So mainly here we talk about this performance evaluation, the performance evaluation plan, the clinical evaluation, etc. of the products. And this document is really well written, I mean, from what I read. It looks like the MedDev also document, not like, but it's helping really to create a clinical evaluation for IVD. What are the challenges? What are the elements that are important? What are the different phases, different stages to go for this? What are the documents that should be available? So if you are planning to create some performance evaluation, you have really to read that and understand that. And as I've told you before, for Class D devices, these performance evaluation or clinical documentation will go to an expert panel. So you have really to be careful when you are writing these kind of documents. Notified bodies. So we have a new notified bodies under MDR, which is ITAL-CERT SRL. So it's the 27th notified body under MDR. So you can go on the Nando database and check its qualification. As I've told you, each notified body have their own products that they can qualify. So don't think that they can qualify everything. Go to the ITAL-CERT page and check if your product is listed there before to contacting them. So we have under EU MDR 27 notified bodies, and under EU IVDR still the same 6 notified bodies, which is now also critical for manufacturers that really wants to get on the market as quick as possible under IVDR. Okay, podcast. So we had 3 episodes of the podcast this month. So mainly we had episodes, first one about TÜV with Christoph Lindner, where we talked about how to accelerate your laboratory tests for your devices. So we talk about biological tests or electrical tests or whatever tests. So how you can go to see a laboratory, what you should ask them, what you should prepare before to contacting them, etc. So there is a lot of step-by-step or strategy that you have to apply so that you are sure that you get your test on time. Because the problem is that when you start a test and it fails, you have to restart it again, and then it can delay your project. So here we are really explaining to you all what you have to do for being ready for such tests. Okay, so episode number 2, we had a discussion with Mitch Robbins from the Anthony Michael Group, where we discussed on how to interview a QA/RA candidate, because mainly this is something that can be happening to you. It happens to me a lot, so it was really a great episode where we had some advices on how to prepare for interview, how to interview the person, and then how to end the interview or how to contact them to say that we choose them or we didn't choose them. I think it's also an important step, so don't hesitate to look at this episode if you are maybe in the process of interviewing a candidate, a QA/RA candidate. And the last episode with Eric Volbrecht on MDCG, on the guidance MDCG 2021-27, where we talked about vocabulary or how people have to interpret some of the things, because we discussed about this guidance because it was apparently more confusing than helping. So where we discussed about the concept of placing on the market, and we had a lot of information about vocabulary that is used, about the problems that it generates, and maybe something that we hope that maybe the European Commission will update. And we talked also about the importer, relabeling, so the fact that the product was already labeled with an importer, and then it comes back to another importer within the European Union. So who is the real importer? So there was also some discussion about that. So don't hesitate to go there if you are in this situation for placing on the market or importer that should check the labels on the product. And if you have another importer label on it, so what should you do now? So this is mainly the point. Okay, it was a pleasure to have you, and I hope all the information we provide are really informative and helping you. If you need any support, if you need anything, don't hesitate to contact me at info@easymedicaldevice.com, info@easymedicaldevice.com, and we'll try, me and my team, to help you and to find a solution for you. So don't hesitate. Okay, so talk to you soon, and I wish you a nice day.